Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Yes, we won't forget you. Now, for those citizens of the world, those outside South Africa, there's one fact that you really find hard to get your head around, and that is while the white population have been in South Africa largely for many, many generations and are as African and as anybody else living in the country, they are perceived as being white. And yet the Chinese who live in China can fly into Oliver Tambo Airport, walk out of the airport into Johannesburg, and they are honorary blacks. Yep, they get the same black privilege as the black population in South Africa, just like that. And this is quite extraordinary when you consider that you've got these racist policies like BEE, and we'll get to that in a moment, because this is where there's this huge transfer of assets from what was the largely white-owned companies directly to the well-connected blacks. And we'll, as I say, we'll get to that in a moment. But first of all, South Africa is the first developing country to which China has proposed establishing a comprehensive strategic partnership. Now, you can guess who that's going to benefit when you think of who's working on the South African side. Chinese analysts acknowledge the great achievements the new South Africa has made within the country as well as regionally and internationally. Really? Achievements? Like destroying an economy and corruption? I don't get my head around that one. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, China believe that South Africa holds a uniquely advantageous position amongst the BRICS countries, which would help African countries as a whole to play a greater role in international affairs. China and South Africa share the same or similar views on international affairs, and both are committed to seeking a fair and reasonable new global economic and political order, despite the differences in their domestic political systems. Now, the way China works when it comes to investing in a country, they don't care what goes on there. You could have someone who's a complete dictator and killing half his population, and the Chinese will just look the other way. This is where they differ to the US and Western countries. All they're there to do is to try and make a buck. That's what the Chinese are about, and obviously get a power base in countries. Chinese analysts believe that South Africa's domestic achievements, international reputation, and position in Africa afford South Africa as a BRICS member irreplaceable, unique advantages. This is a load of crap. They argue that South Africa seems to have maintained good relations with other BRICS members and can play a bridge role among them. South Africa is expected to make a special contribution to the growth of the BRICS mechanism and agenda on issues such as the African agenda, BRICS economic cooperation, reforming global economic governance, and promoting the institution of BRICS cooperation. So, where does BEE come in all of this? Well, I have to thank Dee for sending me this very interesting page, and it's a company called Transcend, and it's all about BEE and the sale of assets. Now, let's remember that the Chinese are honorary blacks, so they are seen as black. So you could have a Chinese company, 100% Chinese employment, and that's 100% BEE compliant because they're all honorary blacks. If you had a similar thing with the white population, they wouldn't get any work at all. They would be totally excluded. Now, with this BEE page, which I'm going to attach a link down below, it's actually a company that specializes in helping companies transform so that they are BEE compliant. Can you believe it? And the part that I found most interesting was identifying qualified black investors. So they've got a list of people who are well connected in government or know the right people, and they can recommend them to be your major shareholder to make you BEE compliant. And you know what that does? It makes them instant millionaires. I'm talking about the black investor. Point 2 on this page. Identifying qualified investors. Using our extensive network and database of qualified black investors, we identify suitable black investors. We help you evaluate shortlisted investors and arrange introductions. We assist you in the selection of a preferred investor, and we advise on initial negotiations, drafting of term sheets, and briefing of attorneys. This is for real. There's actually a company now specializing in helping companies which are not BEE compliant become BEE compliant. And it includes the sale of property or leasing property. The web page is down below. And again, the point I'm trying to make is that if you're Chinese, you can have 100% Chinese working for you, but because they're honorary blacks, they're going to be BEE compliant, even though they just arrived in South Africa yesterday. That's how absolutely ludicrous the situation is in South Africa. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, and above all, stay safe.